Pioneer Valley Planning Commission has released their 2015 Plan for Progress, targeting what's needed to make our region prosper into the future. Tonight, we continue our discussions about the Plan for Progress, looking specifically at infrastructure. Our guests are Dana Roscoe, Principal Planner and Transportation Manager for the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, Bill Fuqua, General Superintendent of the Holyoke Department of Public Works, and Lorenzo Macaluso, Director of Green Business Services at the Center for Ecotechnology. Quoting the Plan for Progress, without a modern, high-quality network of infrastructure, a region cannot sustain economic activity, retain its students and workers, attract visitors, tourists, and investment. I asked Dana Roscoe, what more can you say about the importance of infrastructure?
So we're trying not to look back. We're trying not to it's clear that we have potholes. It's clear that we have problems with our existing infrastructure, but if we're not looking forward, we're not advancing. And I think there's a lot of opportunities that we're realizing. We've just implemented the higher speed rail up the Connecticut River corridor, brought it back to the river. So Holyoke will be finishing their station, I think I read in August. Those kind of opportunities, looking at rail, looking at other modes, PVTA, investing in electric vehicles, those kind of forward-thinking elements are kind of where we're going. We're not going to ignore that we have potholes and that we have to fill potholes, but we need to get beyond that and look at the bigger picture, and that's what the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission is trying to do with this plan, is where are we going and how do we get there?
Bill Fuqua, I think every time you hear the word pothole, you twitch a little, I'm sure. Yeah. It's in your business, that's just not something you want to hear about. But the thing that strikes me about infrastructure is it's physical. It's something you really can get your hands right, you can touch it, but it takes a lot of commitment and ultimately money to build and maintain roads, bridges, internet networks, energy production, transmission. We know what we need to do. It's not easy to do it.
No, it's not, and the primary challenge is funding it and coming up with the resources, the financial resources to pay for the maintenance and the replacement of the infrastructure. You mentioned many examples of typical infrastructure, visual infrastructure, bridges and roads and utility lines, but there's a whole additional component of that people can't see or touch, and it's the buried infrastructure, the underground water systems, the sewer collection systems and the stormwater systems that are out of sight and out of mind, that are many, many years old, not to look back, as Dana was saying, looking forward, but we have to, as managers and the caretakers of these systems, we have to look at the age of this buried infrastructure, and there's hundreds of millions of dollars of need that has to go into that element of the infrastructure as well going forward.
Lorenzo Macaluso, let's talk a little bit about energy with the Center for Ecotechnology, anticipating and meeting energy needs of the region now and for the future. That is a big thing to get our arms and our heads around, but it's critical, right?
It sure is, and I think that I was very excited to see everything that was in the plan that addresses clean energy, energy efficiency, and also even the recycling and waste diversion components that are all sort of focused in the same direction. And as Bill was saying, there's a lot of resources needed, and there really are a tremendous amount of resources available to make those kinds of improvements and energy efficiency. I think that that's a supporting function for the infrastructure to reduce the need for energy use, and the utility programs are robust. There's lots of great examples from big places like Shriners Hospital doing a big energy efficiency project with Columbia Gas, for example, where they're saving 8% of their total energy use by doing improvements, making big improvements there. And you don't have to be a big facility like that. It can be places like Cooper's Corner in Northampton, also a Columbia Gas customer and National Grid customer, that a bunch of upgrades, improving their own bottom line, taking advantage of the funds that are available, and also helping create local jobs. I think that those opportunities really exist to improve the environment, improve the economy at large, and also improve the business's bottom line that address these needs.
And you, in particular, assigned Green Business Services, and it is all about getting away from the old-style fossil fuels that are dirty and expensive and not immediately available, and looking at wind, solar, geothermal, right?
Sure, of course. All renewable technologies are definitely on the rise. There's a lot of opportunity for making those kinds of investments. I think that those are really critical. We're not a place that has the more traditional fuels available and produced here in Massachusetts, and so renewable energy does really help address some of that. And I'll add to that even anaerobic digestion, which there's a facility now in South Hadley that's taking, it's a Barstow's farm that's taking food waste and mixing it with manure, creating a renewable energy source through this anaerobic digestion process, and diverting food waste from disposal, so saving greenhouse gas there, but also creating renewable energy right there on that site, and more of those are in the works.
Dana, let me ask you, and with Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, you got to get this one right on rail passenger travel, because, of course, it's been a passion for his whole professional life of your leader, Tim Brennan.
Right.
We're talking more and more about east-west connection, Boston, Springfield, but right now we're seeing, after years and years and years of talk and hope, real commitment to getting greater north-south connection so people can maybe find inexpensive housing here, but be working in Hartford or New Haven, farther up north, or vice versa, really making this a region.
Right, and really we haven't realized our full potential. That what we have to look forward to in the next year is the service between New Haven and Springfield really becoming a commuter rail service. So right now we're 6 or 8 trains a day between Springfield and New Haven. We're looking at 18, 20, 25 trips a day between Springfield and New Haven, with what's really exciting, with a stop in Windsor Locks. And the stop in Windsor Locks will be met by a bus to shuttle you directly to the airport. You get on the train in Springfield, go down to Windsor Locks, get on a bus, and you're at the airport. I think that kind of thing is really great for the greater Springfield area, to have these kind of services that we see in other larger cities in America, and really a great opportunity for us.
Bill Fuqua, let me ask you about what I like to think of as the original infrastructure, natural infrastructure of a region, something you pay attention to, Connecticut River, keeping it safe, keeping it clean. It's really still important. It's why Holyoke's where it is. It's why Springfield is here where it is. That continues to play a big role in who we are and what happens here.
Yeah, it really does. It's come back from a very dismal past in the late 60s and 70s. To be a green source of energy. Over 60% of the power for the city of Holyoke is generated by hydropower from the dam and from the canal system and the water from the river. But it has come back, and there's the continuing work to make it better. The river suffers from periodic pollution from combined sewer overflow discharges from the cities on the lower reaches of the river in the lower valley here. And there's been a considerable amount of money spent over the last 20 years. About $300 million have been spent on trying to abate that pollution source in these communities, but we're only about halfway, a little over halfway there to remove this pollution source and help the river achieve its full potential as a swimmable, fishable water body all the time.
Gentlemen, we have barely scratched the surface. I urge everybody, go to the website, Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, read more about it. We thank you for coming in and telling us about infrastructure, what it means for us now and in the future. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.